Just right. You know, I am such an attractive host to be looking at, right? So we'll make sure everything's going good here. Welcome to another edition of Sticks-n-Stonez. Got a great show coming up for you today. I am pairing a Knob Creek smoked maple. We'll learn a little more about that as we go with Le Aroma de Cuba Pasión. I love this stick. It's a really great stick. Le Aroma de Cuba, they do it up right. I already got myself pulled up over on X. I can see what's happening. I'm on Rumble Live. So we are doing excellent. We're firing on all cylinders already. Gonna be a great show, I promise. Oh, and I am wearing my my Here Am I Send Me shirt that you can get on our Amazon store. I post a link to it pretty consistently on some of the boards that I'm on there on X, and it's my best-selling shirt. You'll love it. Got the Desert Camo Soldier on it, Isaiah 6:8. And the Lord said, who should we send and who should go for us? And I said, here am I, Lord, send me. You'll love it. Bunch of colors, men's and women's, lots of sizes. Great shirt. You should get you one. So let's dive right in. All right. Knob Creek is one that a lot of people are really high on, including me. I think Knob Creek's an excellent spirit. Wasn't so much on their 9-year, but I love their 12-year, and I really do like this this smoked maple. Even though I know it's flavored whiskey, but it is actually a full-proof whiskey. It comes in at 45% alcohol by volume, so 90 proof. It's not like coconut rums that may be, 43 proof or something like that. This is the real deal. So anyway, it is the Jim Beam Distilling Company out of Clermont, Kentucky. It is 90 proof, 40% alcohol, 45% alcohol by volume. The mash bill is 75% corn, so a real nice dose of sweet. 13% rye, so a little bit of spice, and 12% malted barley. Still don't think I'm just quite right, but there we go. That'll work. It is a non-age statement, but typically 7 to 9 years before the maple finishing. So the finish is natural smoked maple infusion. So it does have some flavoring in it. Got that real close to the microphone, so I hope it came across really well. Since I'm not doing my recording that I used to do and have my whatever they call those things in your ear, where I can hear what's going on as it's happening, I can't really tell. I just have to hope that it's coming across well. Now, I've gone ahead and got this glassed up, and it is just a beautiful, beautiful, deep amber kind of honey gold with a real syrupy viscosity, which would kind of lend itself to like maple syrup. So, got really nice legs, really clings to the glass well. On the nose, there is a very prevalent dose of maple syrup at the beginning of the nose, with just a tinge of alcohol burn. And there's also some kind of toasted oak, maybe like caramelized sugar, that sort of thing. And the maple syrup on the aroma is it's very, very pronounced and very pleasant. Now, kind of underneath that, you have some very nice notes of vanilla bean, roasted pecans, which I love. My wife, she makes several cookies with pecans in them, and she always toasts the pecans first. So I know this smell and I love it. And then there's also just kind of a faint kind of campfire smoky hint there in the very bottom of all of it, kind of just wafting around a little bit. Mm, wow. Um, and all of those last things, kind of the vanilla and the roasted pecans, and that kind of little bit of smokiness that really kind of gives it that earthiness that helps kind of balance out all the sweetness in the beginning. I think it does a really good job of keeping it grounded. Mm. I tell you, you're going to want to just sniff on this a while, but we can't just do that. We have to, we have to commit. All right, here we go. For those of you whiskey purists that are like, infused whiskey, the first thing you get is kind of a rye spice burn right on the tip of your tongue. So it's whiskey right in the beginning. Then as it travels across your tongue, you get this kind of sweet, mapley goodness that kind of coats your tongue, followed almost immediately by some really nice, some very nice, really, 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 some very nice vanilla cream and a little bit of nutmeg and just a hair of barrel char. So it does have a significant amount of sweet on it, but it also has those those notes that you're looking for when you're just talking about whiskey. Now, as you get to the mid palate and farther, um, you get this kind of rich blend of um, brown sugar and molasses. So it's a really kind of a deep, dark sweetness. Um, a little bit of smoked toffee on there. Um, the rye spice, you do get it in the beginning, and then it does appear again kind of late on the back of your tongue. And it does provide just a little bit of lift to kind of an otherwise very buttery mouthfeel. I love this spirit. I do. And this was the first bottle I ever had of it. And you can tell there hasn't been a whole lot taken out of it because I knew I wanted to do a show on it, so I didn't want to get didn't want to put a baby nipple on the top of it and just sit back and watch TV. Although I could have because it's really good. It's very good. It's exceptional. Now the finish. Hmm, sorry, it's Sunday watching the Cowboys and the Panthers. He live in Dallas. Cowboys are going to be on every Sunday. I'm I have to kind of warm up to them, because you live in Dallas and they're on TV every single week. All the sports radio stations, that's all they talk about. Um, but I am down with all the other Dallas teams, the Mavs, the Rangers, Stars. But you know, anyway, I just keep saying that Dallas is not going to be good until they get a new general manager. And I'm pretty sure we know who his replacement is going to be. He may not be any better. I don't really know. Don't know that much about him, but the apple doesn't fall far from the tree. So back to the finish. Um, the finish is kind of a medium long, a little more than medium, but not a long finish. I'm still tasting a little bit of the mapley in my mouth right now. Uh, you get this kind of fading, kind of caramelized maple. Like if you're making some sort of recipe, you're baking something, and you have to put some maple syrup in a pot and heat it, let it bubble, and you'll get a little bit of that caramelization around the sides. I don't know that you'd ever have to do that, but I have. Yeah, I can occasionally do a little something in the kitchen, and I have had to use like Karo syrup, corn syrup, real sweet stuff, in a recipe with sugar, and it'll kind of get caramelized around the edge as you're getting it all blended together, and yeah, all that kind of stuff. So, same kind of thing. Uh, and But then that fades into um, a little oak, and then some more little gentle smokiness, and just a touch of spice. It's got just enough of everything to be balanced and keep you interested. That's for sure. Um, and then it has this kind of warming, almost dessert night, dessert like close that just wants you to take another sip. So, I don't want to disappoint it. Who am I to disappoint my glass of whiskey? Now, let's move on. L'Aroma de Cuba Pasión. I love LADC. It's a whole lot easier than saying all of that. I could just say Laddick. Okay, sounds kind of Scottish then. Laddick. I like the Laddick Passion. But yeah, I really do the Mi Amore, the Noblesse, uh, and the Especial edition of Special. And all their cigars are very good. The Noblesse is probably my favorite. Naturally, it would be the most expensive. I do have fillet tastes on a bologna pocketbook. Um, but the Passion, it is made in Nicaragua at the My Father Cigars factory. You know, my father, not my father, but My Father Cigars. Um, the wrapper is had to have this here because I couldn't have remembered all of this. A shade grown Nicaraguan from the Namanji Valley or Namanji Valley. Naman I don't know. Nama Nji Namanji. The binder and filler are both Nicaraguan. The filler is a blend. I had to get this down too because there's a lot of it. Estelle, Jalapa, and Namanji, whatever regions. It is a medium to medium full body. This is a Toro 6 by 60 on the ring gauge. I do believe I have that right. Looks like a 60, maybe a 56. It's close. Yeah, it's one of those. You get that close. It's close enough for government work. The appearance, the wrapper is rather shiny. It does have a little bit of textured feel to it, sort of like brown paper bags. Um, it is maybe a little lighter than a milk chocolate, but about that. Um, Minimal veining. And of the veining, there's a little bit of it that is pronounced that you might be able to see depending on how the light shines on it. And I could just pick up there the visible yet tight seams. And it does appear that there could be a little bit of tooth. Um, it kind of has maybe a kind of chestnut kind of maybe sheen to it. Like I said, it's a little bit shiny. Um, it has a really nice double cap, a really big cap on it. You can see I'm pointing to where the cap ends. Sometimes the caps are really just too small, and when you cut them, the whole cap will come off. Uh, not with Pepin Garcia's work. No, he's not having it. The band is just beautiful. This is one thing I do love. I love the band on this cigar. That beautiful kind of light jade kind of green with the floral aspects and the gold. I forgot what they call that. There's some term for it. Anyway, it just gives it this real kind of artisanal kind of look to it. And then, of course, the lovely uh, lady on the front. I need to really do some researching and figure out where she came from. I'm pretty sure there's got to be a story there. Now, on the nose, first I get a little bit of earthiness, but then I get some very nice notes. And you see, I go very nice notes of like sweet hay, a little bit of cocoa in there, some cedar, kind of mingles with just a faint kind of florally spice. Mm. All right, let's go ahead and give it a cut. I'm just going to use my cigar V cutter, my old faithful I've had for so long. It's the one I cut part of one of my fingers off on air one day. That was back before I got experienced. That was like season number one. I'll tell you the story after I do the cold draw. The cold draw it's firm, but it's very easy. So it's not going to be like overly easy. It's not too loose a draw. It's got just enough resistance on it for you to have to, inhale or take in the puff a little harder. You don't want to inhale it. Don't do that. Uh, but it's got this kind of um, creaminess to it. Um, there's a little bit of kind of earthy sweetness and some almonds, maybe a little bit of light pepper in there. And then there's also something like some sun dried tomatoes. I don't know that I don't know that I've ever used that analogy before when talking about cigars. Mm. All right, let's go ahead and fire this baby up using my Rocky Patel Envoy 5 torch. I believe in doing it right if you're going to do it. All right. Uh, like I was saying about the cold draw, the draw on it is almost effortless. There's just enough resistance for you to have to work a little bit, but not too much, but not too little. I have found there is a one particular cigar that I believe it is because the draw is so easy on it. I overdraw on it, and it kind of it kind of gives you that kind of queasy feeling just a little bit. So I've only had that cigar about 2 or 3 times, and every time, same thing. It's the only cigar that does that. I'm going to touch it with a single torch just a little bit. Other than my lighting, the burn is pretty straight. Uh, you got some nice kind of medium to light gray ash thus far. Um, nice smoke output. The smoke is really nice and creamy. Uh, and it really shows the quality of the Nicaraguan construction. Love this commercial. It's one of the insurance commercials. I don't like the insurance, but it's got King Henry playing football. It's funny. Makes me laugh. All right, let's get serious here. It opens with a very nice kind of creamy cedar with some toasted nuts and a little bit of faint pepper in there. Uh, the natural sweetness of the wrapper adds just enough balance and depth into it to really keep you interested. I get a nice floral on the retrohale with maybe a little bit of citrus in there and just a touch of pepper. The the bourbon's maple uh, aroma and palate really complements the natural sweetness of the cigar. Um, and side by side, you kind of get something like caramelized nuts, not honey roasted, but it's got that kind of caramelized sugar. Let me try it the other way around here. When I reverse it around, sip first, puff second. Um, the uh, the maple sweetness on the spirit kind of uh, preps your palate with this kind of silky warmth, and then uh, you get the cedar and nutty notes off of the cigar that are kind of tempered by the syrupy sweetness of the spirit. And the smoke kind of acts as a counterbalance, kind of grounding the maple in earth and spice because you have the rye spice in there in the spirit, and then the kind of peppery spice that's in the cigar. Still need to touch this up a little bit. It's not a really good lighter. I was busy yesterday, so I didn't get to do it yesterday. Uh, A&M was kicking off at 6 o'clock, so we were going to be we were going to be at the bar. It is the local game viewing place for the McKinney A&M former students club, whatever you want to call it. We stayed there until halftime, and then I got tired of spending $5 on a beer, and so we left at halftime. And I came home and got to watch, but probably a much better second half than first half. First half was good. We went into the locker room. I think they were tied. May have been 17-14, but it was right in there. Had been it was a good game. First half, good game. It just it wasn't like a spectacular game. But then the A&M, unlike years past, turned it on in the second half, which their MO has been in prior years. Once you get about halfway through the third quarter, everybody just take a break. And maybe 2 years ago, I saw them blow like a 21-point lead in the fourth quarter. Not yesterday. Oh no, We went in half. It was either 14-14 or 17-14. And at the end of the game, it was 34-17. We gave up one field goal in the second half. And we are now 6-0, 3-0, I think, in SEC play. 2-0 or 3-0. I can't remember if we were 2-0 going in or 1-0 going in. Anyway, I know we beat Mississippi State. I think Mississippi State was first. I think we were 1-0 going in. We're 2-0 now. And Florida is not a ranked team, but they're a good team. They're a lot better than what their record says. They got a really good offense, and I was very happy that we were able to basically shut their offense down. Showed a lot. We moved up from number 6 to number 5 in the rankings, and we're still behind Oregon, who lost. They have one loss. I don't know how they do that. You lose once, and you're still in the top 5. But I don't want to get a whole lot higher. I don't even want to think about us being number 1. No, we don't need that kind of pressure. Just let them play. That's that kind of stuff that you get up to number 1, and the players go into the locker room thinking, "Hey, we're invincible." No, you're not, buddy. This is the SEC. That's what Texas is finding out. They came in tooting their horns all loud about how they were Texas and they were just going to romp all over the SEC. Doesn't happen that way. On any given day, any SEC team can beat you, even if they're 1-3. It's just that kind of talent across the board. SEC is tough. I know Big Ten's tough. Michigan State, all that kind of stuff. But man, top to bottom, SEC's tough. One reason why Memphis has never been able to be in the SEC, and that is because all the SEC teams recruit in Memphis at their high schools. That's where a whole lot of players come from in the South. And so Memphis they were in the I can't remember. It was the basketball conference with St. John and I think, and teams like in the Northeast, and they managed to get into that league. And the league was primarily a basketball league, but they did have football, and they did have. They were considered one of the big conferences, and so they could play for a national championship. And like, this is when I was still in Memphis. Like, all right, well, that's great. Well, then they ended up splitting the league up. I don't know that the split up league that they're in now still has the tie in to the bowls or whatever, but that was about the only way they were going to do it. They were not going to do it by getting into the SEC because that wasn't going to happen. I got to check our injury report. Le'Veon Moss went down in the first half with an ankle injury. He broke his leg and was out all last year. And he's been playing really well this so far in the season. So I hope it's not anything that's going to keep him out like the rest of the year. Yeah, that's a face mask. Very good cigar. Very good spirit. I really like the smoked maple. I'm a sweeter kind of guy. I just, used to it was, well, you had a sweet tooth. I got all of my teeth they're all sweet teeth. So that's why I was way overweight for a big chunk of my life. And the cigar, it's it's definitely, to me, falls in kind of the medium strength. It may kind of titch over a little bit into full, but It's a very approachable cigar, very easy smoking cigar. Got some wonderful notes on it. If you haven't tried it, you can try one in. They sell at Famous and I see. Now that I've lost my train of thought on what the cigar places are. Holtz, I think. Thompson, that was the other one I was trying to think of. They sell these little 5 cigar fresh packs, and that was what this was from. And it had like 2 Mia Mores, one of these, one of the Edition Especial, and then just one of whatever their base cigar is. But yeah, it's a great way. It's less than $50, and the Mia Mores are, I mean, they're a fairly pricey cigar. If you try and buy one, that's well over $10 a stick. Uh, and so, you get a pretty good deal for less than $50, and you get to try almost all of them. You don't get the Noble S. The Noble S costs you almost as much as the 5-pack does by a single stick. After I straightened out all of my burning issues, my lighting issues, been really nice. A really nice straight burn line to it. It's still got that kind of there's some more whiter ash down toward the burn line, but I would just say overall still kind of that medium gray. Uh, the fuck was that? Oh, what the beep was that? I don't know. I was over on the other side of the fence. It is a beautiful day here at the No Shoes Bar and Grill, out on the patio. Got the pool bubbling. A little too chilly to get into, though. It's now down in the upper 70s. Because it's still getting up close to 90 during the day, but it gets down into the 60s at night. That water cools off a lot. Generally, I can get in at about 82, but Mrs. Sticks-n-Stonez has got to be like 84, 85. They threw a flag on that. It was a great catch. He kind of picked him up and tossed him out of bounds. Brian Schottenheimer was complaining about something before he ever caught the ball. I don't know. I'm only halfway paying attention. I do have a little bit of ED going on. Uh, Peyronie's disease, isn't that what the commercials are about? The carrot. I don't know. I've never had that problem. Mm. Sam Darnold is playing good this year. If you're a Seahawks fan, he hadn't really been like a great quarterback for his career. He may not even be considered a good quarterback. I don't know, but he's been lighting it up out in Seattle. He just dropped a loaf right into his receiver's breadbasket right at the goal line. Long pass too. Maybe I should be doing uh, oh, touchdown Cowboys. That was a good pass too. Doing a little bit of the icky shuffle. All right, I'm gonna tap this off because I know that will fall in my lap. No, you're not supposed to, but I've had a whole lot of cigar ash in my lap in my life. I will say this has got a really nice yet slow burn. We're not even quite to the halfway point, and we have already been at this a while. Yeah, 35 minutes. And I don't think I talked a whole lot before I jumped right on into it. Sometimes I get a little carried away. Um, but I have to find things to talk about because you got 20 minutes between the light and the halfway, maybe 30 minutes, 20 or 30 minutes between the halfway and the end of the cigar, and you got to fill it up with something. There's only so much of this you can talk about before you have to start finding things. One big thing was Friday was a tough day. in the stock market and the crypto markets. I forgot how many, like 16 billion. I don't understand all the crypto stuff. But anyway, they lost a whole lot. There were a whole lot of longs that were called in or something. Somebody made a whole lot of money. It wasn't me. And I know I have I own stock in Pfizer, not Pfizer, Eli Lilly. Had it for several years. I think I actually bought it back during COVID. Uh, I think they were coming. They had, I don't know, one of the COVID, Rocco. Um, they had one of the COVID vaccines or whatever, and then they also have some of the diabetic / weight loss drugs. And so I bought in at like $72 a share, which I thought was a little high, but I was taking a chance. Um, not yesterday, Friday, they lost $29 a share for no reason. There was no news out about anything wrong. It was just the market, and it still closed well above 800. So I bought in at 72, and it's hanging in right now at about 825 or so. Yeah, it's been up over 900. I don't know what happened Friday, but a whole lot of my stocks were down on the day. But I don't panic. I've learned a lot. I went ahead and pulled the Pasion band off because we're getting close to halfway. We'll be there in a few minutes. Probably just have to give you the midway and call it a day. I don't want to keep y'all on. As a matter of fact, I think on Rumble I can't keep you past an hour. May do I could do a extra innings. I could start back up again because I got quite a few people watching me. I'm doing good, and I got like 3 dozen people watching between the two platforms I can see. I don't know about YouTube. I don't ever get a lot of like live views on YouTube. I'm not big enough yet. So if you're over uh, perusing around YouTube, look up old Sticks-n-Stonez over there and just play a few of the episodes. You don't even have to watch them; just let them play. Kind of push up my whatever you call it. Gotta have a little more of that, and that is some good stuff right there. And I think it was like, I don't know, $50. It's really good, really good. I think it would make, and I may have to try this afternoon. I think it'd make an excellent old fashioned. Yeah. But I told my older daughter a few weeks ago, telling my middle daughter, my older daughter she's 30. Didn't mean to throw her age out there, but uh, my middle daughter is 16, and I was telling her she wants to follow daddy and go to law school. And I was telling her, I'm like, right now she works at a little breakfast place, and her and our youngest daughter work there on Saturday and or Sunday. Uh, been working since they were 15 and 14. Raised them right, not sitting in front of the TV playing video games. Uh, they've been saving for their car. They got like 10 grand saved up, so they're going to get a pretty decent POS. It's going to be a pretty rosy POS for what they've got. But yeah, I remember my first vehicle was my dad's truck that he had inherited when my grandfather passed away. My grandfather had bought it and only lived like another 12 or 18 months after that, maybe 2 years. So my dad just took it. It was a F100 Ford 4-wheel drive, vinyl seat, no carpet, no headliner, no air conditioner, AM radio, and it's either a 360 or a 390 engine in it. I turned 16 in February, so it was really cold, kind of, down into the 20s or so at night. I drove it to school the first day. I grew up in the country. I go down this gravel road, tease into a paved road, and I get down to the stop sign, and there's a school bus behind me, and I'm having trouble. It dies, and I'm having trouble getting it started again. The bus is honking at me, wanting me to go. I literally drove it home that afternoon, laid the keys on the counter, and said, I'll ride the bus. And I did for 2 more years. Yeah, it was a stick shift. So, and if you know a 4-wheel drive truck stick shift, it's not like the cars. First is like granny low. You can't go more than about 5 miles an hour, and it's wound out. Yeah, it was tough going that first day, and I just didn't care to do it again. That and the fact that kids were making fun of me because it was blaze orange. Dad called it harvest gold. I'm like, no, ain't nothing gold about that color. It's orange. We're almost at the halfway. I think we're going to make it to maybe a little bit past halfway before I cut you off if y'all care to stick around. But go back through some of my notes here. Uh, there's somebody talking. It's coming from over the fence. Um, the Knob Creek smoked maple is a flavored whiskey, uh, and it's a non-age statement, but it's aged 7 to 9 years before they introduce the maple flavoring. Um, it unlike a lot of flavored alcohols, say for instance coconut rum, it is 90 proof. Now you can get Parrot Bay coconut rum. It's the Parrot Bay 90, and it's 90 proof. But just as a rule, like Malibu and cruising coconut and all that kind of stuff, you're getting a spirit that probably doesn't go over 50 proof. Some of them are like 21.5% alcohol by volume, so like 42 proof. I think Crowns like apple and salted caramel and that they're like 80. But Knob Creek was like, well, we're going to kick it on up just a little bit, and it does a really good job. Uh, it's got this kind of sweet maple that kind of coats your tongue. When you first take the sip, you'll get it's kind of a combination of alcohol and rye spice burn on the front of your tongue. And then as it continues to go across your palate, you get that nice mapley flavor with some vanilla cream and maybe a little bit of nutmeg in there and some oak char. And then as you get at the mid palate and on past, you pick up these like this rich blend of excuse me, brown sugar and molasses and maybe a little bit of smoked toffee. And then there's that little bit of rye spice there as you start to get to the backside of your tongue. And it's just got this this very nice buttery mouthfeel to it. I really like it, but I'm a sweet guy. There'll be a lot of, the bourbon purists that'll be like, nah, I'm not drinking any flavored whiskey. I don't know. You try this. You might like it. I've always had a very eclectic taste in almost everything. Now, the cigar, the Le Aroma de Cuba uh, Pasion is the Le Aroma de Cuba is built, constructed, manufactured by the Garcia factory. So uh, Don Pepin Garcia, my father. It's at my father cigar factory. Um, it's got a really great construction. Um, it starts out with like some creamy cedar and some toasted nuts and a little bit of kind of a faint peppery to it. There's some natural sweetness on the wrapper that gives it a really nice balance and depth. And when you try to put them together, a combination of uh, seeing something being posted on X, but I don't know what it had to do about. um, they really blend well together with caramel and nuts, and there's a little bit of campfire smoke in there, um, and then there's that uh, syrupy kind of sweetness from the spirit that just it kind of, I don't know, counterbalances everything, and it really brings it together very, very well. I didn't say really. Maybe I did say really very, very well. I don't know. Anyway. Hmm. Like they're getting ready to fire off another uh, starbase rocket or whatever they call it. I think we're probably really close to we're very close to the halfway mark. Um, and as we've gone through the cigar, the it has introduced some more like, hang on, I got a scratch. Uh, some richer notes of cocoa and baking spice alongside the kind of caramelized wood tones. Um, the retro hail has a nice kind of a warm spiciness to it, um, with a little bit of floral and a little bit of citrus and a little bit of pepper, and maybe even as we've gotten farther in, we've gotten some like toasted almonds, um, and they're really finding they're finding a nice rhythm between the stick and the spirit. The bourbons, maple and oak, enrich the cigars, cocoa and kind of roasted nuts. Um, but the cigar's Nicaraguan spice pulls the bourbon a little forward. Or I should say, the rye spice zest a little forward in the flavor profile, and also reveals kind of an undertone of maybe some cinnamon and clove. So, I mean, you really do have a lot going on. I mean, there's a lot going on here. And together they create this wonderful sweet smoke kind of interplay where not the not the individual pieces flavor. I would really think of it as almost like a pumpkin pie, but at the same time, you've got that kind of campfire toastiness, like a s'more would have, but not the graham cracker, marshmallow, and all that kind of stuff. Just that kind of smokiness from roasting the marshmallow. So, if you put a piece of pumpkin pie on a stick and put it over the fire, I don't think it'd work very well. But it'd be kind of what you'd have. I do my best. So, uh, but I am very much enjoying both of these. I really am. Oh, that was terrible, dude. I guess it was either a punt or a kickoff, and the dude from Carolina, he caught it just as somebody was hitting him, and so he tried to lateral it, but he's falling as he's doing it, and so the dude he's lateraling it to does manage to collect it up, but by the time he does, there's people everywhere. And then one of the Cowboys comes in before he's down and punches it out. And then there is just a melee of bodies trying to get on that football. But it does look like the Panthers did recover. So there's that. There's a flag on the play. Dude, just go down. You've got the ball. Just go down. It's better to just go down and then start from there as to have all this BS that went on. I guess it was. Oh shit, I don't know what they were. Anyway, 30 seconds till halftime. And there was a whole bunch of stuff happened right there. And there was a foul. So I was too busy talking to see exactly what happened. I don't guess it was kickoff. I guess it was a pass. And he tried to lateral it to his teammate, and it didn't work. I mean, sometimes I think the referee just needs to come on and just be truthful and be like, the player that caught the ball was a dumbass and tried to throw it to his teammate, and there's just a whole bunch of stuff went wrong, and so we're calling a foul on him. I think there'd be a whole lot more people understand that. Oh, okay, he was a dumbass. Hmm. Hey, I ordered some A&M stuff today, Sunday. I just got a text saying it's about to ship. I'm not saying what I got, but it's Christmas presents. So I'm gonna go ahead, pull this lovely, lovely band off. For those of you that came in late and didn't see the beginning of it, uh, I do think this is one of the most beautiful bands that there is in the cigar world. It's this beautiful kind of light jade green with the floral and the gold leafing and the lovely whoever that is on there. I need to research and find out who that is. I don't have a research staff, so they can't do it while I'm talking. Maybe one day, maybe one day I'll be big enough for that. But right now, I have to do it all. So I've already got iPad and 2 iPhones here. I can't add anything else. It'd just be too much. I'm doing good to keep all this going. There's Mrs. Sticks-n-Stonez in the background. Time is it? Yeah, getting close to time to go pick the girlies up from work. Yeah, my kids work. They go to a school where there's not a lot of that. Um, they go to a school in the school district my wife teaches in, which is the one next door to our town. Um, and the it's all neighborhood schools. So you have like a neighborhood with an elementary school, and then you have like 2 neighborhoods with a middle school, and then you have 4 neighborhoods with a high school. Uh, and their whole time in elementary and middle school, it was 75% Southwest Asian. Um, and the average home price there is like 1.5, $2 million, something like that. Yeah, like every single driveway has a Tesla in it or a luxury sedan, BMW, Mercedes, something like that. Yeah. So there's a lot of kids playing a lot of video games. That is a very good cigar. Very good cigar. I need a sip of something else. I ate a little something before I came out here because I knew that because I'd already had the smoked maple, and I knew I love it, uh, and I didn't want to be out here slurring my words or nothing like that. It's hard enough to do as it is. Well, we're at 55 minutes, right at it. So I'm gonna go ahead and wrap this up. We got a little bit more to go here, but I may, for those of you that are on Rumble, I'm probably going to stop and start back up. So you can hop back on if you want to. We'll do a little after show. So, and I'll give you the finale. For all the rest of you, I hope you'd enjoyed this little video pairing here. Uh, please hit like, subscribe, share, notify, especially share. Share the shiznit out of it because that's how I grow. I've been concentrating mainly on X because they are a very free speech oriented type of platform compared to the others, and they allow me to do all of this stuff. And it's like YouTube. Most of the guys that I know that just do like cigar reviews and stuff, they've had to completely get off YouTube. They all went over to Rumble because I think one of them said it got to the point where he couldn't even like if he did a green screen in the background and maybe put up a picture that had a cigar on it, they wouldn't let him monetize the video because it had a cigar on it. If you said the word cigar, you couldn't monetize on it. I mean, it was just that bad. So I do this live stream over to YouTube, but I don't try to monetize over there. My monetizing is on Rumble, and Rumble will give me credit for the views on YouTube somehow. So anyway, uh, be sure to go to our Sticks-n-Stonez, just like STICKS-N-Stones Amazon store. Pick up a Here Am I, Send Me t-shirt. It's got the beautiful full color American flag on it now that says Sticks-n-Stonez. I actually have two. I have one over there that's still the just black and white, doesn't have red and blue. But on the back, Desert Soldier, Isaiah 6:8, who shall I send? Who shall go for us? And I said, Here, my Lord, send me. Best selling shirt. Go get you one. You need one. Everybody needs one. But until we get to be together again, keep your sticks dry. Stones cold. Have a great day.